month is how to make the world a better place. What can we do? So we've got some ideas. Back in I think it was 20, when we had Willie Shaw from the Evanston NAACP come and speak to us about what we can do, each one of us, to make the world a better place. So we're going to first do that section of the video we have from 2020. I invited her to come here. I don't know what's happened to her in the meantime. I've called, left a message at Evanston NAACP. I've gone through their website. I've tried everything to get her in person, but she's very good on this video. And then afterwards, we're going to have Mike King give us a little synopsis of the great things that he does. We're going to have Leslie also do the same for the great things that he does. And then I'll be asking you, what do you do? So let's get started. Do you have our video ready? This is Willie Shaw. Not a terribly good picture of her there, but there was a nicer picture of her in the flyer.
An election is not the only time you can promote social justice efforts. The progress that has been made and is in large part due to those of other races who are willing to stand up and speak out against inequities. We all know social justice is an underlying principle for peaceful and prosperous coexistence. But while we can agree with this, many of us are at a loss when it comes to acting on or upholding the principles of justice in our everyday lives. So, in answer to this dilemma, allow me to share a few ideas, none of which are new, but all make a powerful difference in putting our words into action. Spread the word. Begin by reading reputable accounts of our history. I said read reputable accounts of our history. Seek to self-analyze how you have contributed to the perpetuation of this system we live in. Or what did you do to halt the perpetuation? Social justice policies and initiatives in boardrooms of all institutions and corporations. Support those justice issues. Become a consumer at Black businesses in your community. Become active in spreading empowerment information, whether it's through word of mouth to friends and family, via your online networking and emails, or just by having a conversation with colleagues at work. Sometimes getting the conversation started is enough to spur others to join in. Always lead by example. Let's learn to listen more. Before you head out the door with that megaphone to spread your message, remember to always be courteous and open to hearing what other people think and feel. When you may or may not agree on everything, debating issues you feel strongly about in a calm and non-aggressive fashion could be eye-opening and validating for both them and you. Attend a rally. Unfortunately, we've had too many in recent weeks and months. But if history has taught us anything, it is that there is power in numbers. It's all well and good to post information about an event or demonstration that's coming up, but to be there in person, to let people know how you feel, to choose to stand and not be silent. Remember, if you are not a part of the solution, you are part of the problems. You may say these are harsh words, but they are also true words. Reclaim your community. It's vital to get to know your neighbors and those around you. You cannot promote social justice on a broader level without a sense of community. And that means the larger community, not just your block or your neighborhood. You could find that you have similar gripes or even hesitation about things that are going on in the neighborhood and be able to mobilize for change. It's also important to help those who may be struggling around you. You first before you seek to help others that are outside of your community. Volunteer, as we know all of us do. That's what we're doing today. Sparing some time to help others in need will help organizations struggling to respond to the demands of their need. Support your local organization. There are a multitude of them out there that fight for equality and the basic human rights for all. Find one whose message resonates with you and find out how you can support their events or their campaigns. You can even adopt a politician. Write a monthly letter or an email to a local member of the council. Take action to support legislative initiatives that support social justice. Learn to embrace diversity. Travel to neighborhoods, communities, and events that are ethnically focused to gain a greater appreciation of diverse cultures. Befriend someone of a different race, ethnicity, religion, or age to explore your own prejudices and gain a better understanding of the issues that are affecting them. Sign a petition. We're all bombarded all the time with emails and pleas from groups hoping we will sign their petition or their pledge. It takes just a few minutes to sign your name to one of those documents, but it could mean the world make a world of difference to those trying to give a leg to their cause. Practice what you preach. Remember, social justice begins at home. There's no point in going out and urging others in the community to change their words and their actions if you haven't first looked at your own stomping ground. Get your children, get your friends, get your family involved, and keep them involved and educated about social justice issues and human rights. It will help to give them a global approach and a perspective to their schoolwork and their life, keeping in mind that they are the ones that are our future. Finally, leave your comfort zone. The best way to understand and assist is to build relationships with each other. To truly begin to understand, you must begin to get to know each other. As Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, who was the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations, puts it, as we seek to build the world we want, let us intensify our efforts to achieve a more inclusive, a more equitable, and a more sustainable development path built on dialogue, transparency, and social justice. Northside AARP, thank you for this opportunity. Peace.
So we'll move on to our personal attesters. Mike, you want to start us off here? For those of you who don't know Mike, this is Mike King. He's very active in the community. He's part of a lot of different programs, does a lot of different things.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mike King, and Fran asked me to say a few words to tell us how we might be able to make the world a better place, you know, to see how they can participate as well. And I'm going to approach this, you know, from a community development processing approach and take a few excerpts from some of the theory and practices that we use with Christian Community Development Association, Community Renewal Society, and a few of the other community groups that approach ways that they can improve our community. And I'm going to choose about 5 or 6 of those items. The first item is sustainability. We have economic development, arts and culture, faith-based associations, and then listening to the people. So with number 1, sustainability, life is so important. And you hear so much about life choices and such. And so it's important to have knowledge about nutrition and have knowledge about having life balance, getting plenty of rest and recreation. And so I think that's one of the key things about community is to think constantly about clean and green and sustainability and life. And we can do this in many ways and many examples that we see here in the summer. For example, we have the many farmers markets that are going on around the communities. And actually, our church, our Urban Village Church, we participate in the farmers market that is in Edgewater, the Edgewater Farmers Market. And what we do basically is just show up and let the community know that we're there and available. In our case, we're just a church in which they have a few tables for community organizations and churches and such. But the vast majority of everyone at the farmers markets, they are quote unquote farmers, or they may bring in some meat, or they may just have booths about things that have to do with life and sustainability. And also, it's an opportunity for folks, particularly the youth and the students, to come and learn about nutrition. That is so important in maintaining health and perpetuating life. And so there are many opportunities to not only learn about nutrition and nature and such, there are opportunities to also participate and work on some of the planning committees in the parks. For example, as Dave mentioned, I was working on the Buttercup Park Advisory Councils, and most of the parks do have an advisory council that works with the community and provides programs, provides movies in the park, recreation, provides opportunities to come into the community and clean and green and clean up and let the park and the community look better, look more beautiful, and also make us feel much better about our communities and our neighborhoods. And so those are some things that we can do with our youth. And it's important to be able to take a holistic approach towards that type of life and that type of sustainability, while also empowering our youth to be a part, to learn leadership skills and organizational skills. All those little things help, which leads right into our economic development aspect of community development. Of course, we want our young people and want everyone to have a perpetual, continually learning. Of course, we are always concerned about keeping our public schools improving and the best. And so, as best possible with the youth, opportunities should be provided, for these young people to not only, try to get good grades and learn good study habits and enhance their gifts, talents, and treasures, but also to try to be a part of some type of a co-op program in the sense of a program similar to the Upward Bound. There are programs called Gear Up, and it's something that the young people and their parents, should be aware of, trying to get them to sign up and participate, which will help with their growth. Of course, a little part-time job never, always helps, and also, helps the young people to learn the skills that they need, to be successful in life, such as being on time, dressing properly, learning the good etiquette and manners. All those things make all the difference in the world. But all at the same time, that, the arts and culture and entertainment of the community helps us learn as well. Oftentimes, with me, working at the Student Center at the University of Illinois, Chicago, some of my directors in the state universities and universities all over, when we come together, I remember Dr. Bratton from Western Illinois University used to always say, well, it's very important in learning and development to put that element of fun into not only the curriculum, but into the activity, into the field trip. So it's so important that the kids and young people and we seniors, have that element of fun in there. We're learning. We don't even realize we're learning because we're having so much fun. So we definitely want to, hold on just a second, Dave, to put that element in there that makes all the difference. Did you have a real quick question?
Just a comment, if you teach them how to show up on time, they might teach you how to use your computer.
That's a great idea. That's a nice exchange. Just recently, as you all know, this weekend had the big Lollapalooza. I'm sure many of us experienced all of that traffic and but from what I can gather is that everything went decently. We had good weather. It was a beautiful time for people to come together and have some sense of fun. Now, in terms of learning, I don't know exactly what the young people learned beyond just simple enjoyment, but the arts and culture, especially we here in Chicago, are so spoiled, aren't we? We have all of these things going on, and especially right prior to school getting ready to start and such. And we as seniors, we can participate in ways of trying to help the young people. You have school supplies and just make sure that they have safety getting to school and all those kind of things we can do. And at the same time, faith-based organizations like Lakeview Prayers here, they help and participate in making many of these things work well in preparing our young people. So the last thing I want to speak upon is how important it is for not only the youth but for all of us to listen to the people of our community, listen to the people of our neighborhoods, listen to your family, and see what might be the salient, the more prevalent issues so that we can act upon it. Because oftentimes one may not be able to have a job simply because they don't have childcare. Childcare may be the number one issue in the community. And here's where maybe the church can help, or maybe some of the other faith-based organizations, community organizations, the alderman's office can help, in those respects in helping, provide some of that care where we can have adults and the family and then the children to work and to contribute, to the well-being of the community and the well-being of the world. And so one of the things I wanted to point out, since we were at the farmers market yesterday over in Village Church, for many who happen to, have the public link cards, when you use the farmers market, say you have like $25 worth of food points, when you go to the farmers market, they match whatever you have. So you can get additional food and fruit and beverages in some case, by participating in the program linked to the farmers markets here in Chicago. So I have a few of these flyers here. One is in English, the other is in Spanish. You all are welcome to take a few and share with the community. And so the very last thing that I want to say is keep your creativity juices open and ready to go, because we want to figure out as many unique and well-intended programs in which to pass the baton to our younger ones. as much as you all can, we being seniors, let's try to be an example. Let's mentor if we can. Let's get an opportunity to come together with our younger ones and to just be a listening ear. So the importance of listening to the community, listening to the people cannot be emphasized anymore. Who knows what may come out of it? And again, like Dave said, maybe we even augment our computer skills somewhat. And the young people realize they're helping their seniors learn the skill, and it benefits everyone and the world. So seniors, remember, we got to pass the top baton in the spirit of the Olympics, in the spirit of the way Biden passed the baton to Kamala. We got to think of the next generation and how we're going to make the difference and figure out creative ways in which to do so. Thank you.
And Leslie, going to give us another perspective. Those of you who don't know Leslie, he's been very active in political.
Should have ran a long time ago. No. As I was introduced, I'm Leslie, and I'm a retired CPS teacher. On top of that, I taught 7 extra years in the Catholic school system. But I guess where I started in volunteering was at a young age. That was like basically implemented by my parents. I am not an original Chicagoan. I'm actually, at one time I was from a rather small town south of here, southwest, about 50 miles, farming town. And that was really the whole thing about volunteering, working as a community. My grandparents were farmers. We always made sure that those people that were less fortunate, they always would have whatever crops were left that, Campbell, the company Campbell or Libby's wouldn't buy, that was given to them, So I've been volunteering. Also, I give a lot of credit. So I give a lot of credit to my parents. And the second people I give a credit to are the Sisters of Holy Cross in Notre Dame, Indiana. I was educated with catechism and Catholic upbringing, and at a young age, we were just initiated into volunteering. More forced to do it, but we got the message. I remember going once a week. They got the bus out, and we would go to the nursing homes, and we would sing. We would sometimes do a play, all that kind of stuff, And so I've been very, very blessed by those sisters of the Catholic order. They taught us how to raise money, and we're still doing it. I have to. I really did come from a rather privileged. I had a privileged life. I didn't want. I always got what I needed. I was provided. A little bit different in our world today. There's a lot of people that, need a lot of help. And I think it's really important when we talk about the youth. We need to get them involved. And I think what's coming up in 2024, in November, I think we have enlightened them to get involved. We don't teach a lot about democracy and the history and social studies that much in schools anymore. We've lost that. People don't know why it's important to vote, to fight for your rights. They don't know that. And even in my community, the LGBTQ, there are so many people in that community. Like, I think they just think, oh, they'll just take care of it. No, we have to be active. And so two things that I volunteer a lot. You'd be here all day if I list everything I volunteered. But the two main things right now in my life, since I've retired, is one is I volunteer here every Monday. I used to help with the food, serve. I decided to take a little break from that, and now what I do is, unfortunately, we had one of our members here that was part of the church passed away unexpectedly, and so they had a Monday date to pick up the food that we get from First Slice, and I jumped in. I started doing that because I think it's really important because this is where we stay young and our minds are fresh when we hang out with other people. I mean, I talk to 10 to 20 people a day about anything. And, if I see someone on the street, I tend to always greet them. Sometimes it turns into a conversation. Maybe it's just a greeting. But so that's I volunteer here. And then the next thing I do is I got involved. I thought, I can't wait until we get this whole new election over. And I'm hoping, which I don't have a lot of hope, in that we won't change electoral college because we have too many red states. But I'm hoping that we might be able to educate all these people in red states that this is not the way we should elect presidents no more. That'll help a lot because I think Illinois is important, but we're not one of the 5 states. And I just think that's not a good idea that we have to rely on just 5 states to win the presidential election. So I'm hoping that happens. But, so I thought, how can I get into this? How can I make a difference in my community? Well, there's not. Where I live, who I hang out with, they're pretty much blue. They're blue. I do have a lot of relatives that are red, and I've been able to convert them. I have a 34-year-old niece, a 27-year-old nephew, his girlfriend who is 25, and I have a 48-year-old niece. All do not want to vote. And I just kept talking to them and saying, there's hope here. And I didn't really have a lot of hope until President Biden stood up, historically a great leader, and made that transformation. Now, I do like how Kamala Harris, and we allowed her to make the choice to run, and now she's picked the candidate for vice president. That's how they got so excited. So what I'm doing is I'm part of a group called Operation Swing State, and we have an office on, let me get my information here, at 1125 West Bryn Mawr Avenue. It's right next to the new L station. I've been going to Wisconsin and Michigan and trying to turn Wisconsin and Michigan blue. And I've been canvassing. And I'm really very, very happy. I was matched up with someone that is involved with me. He was 87 years old. I'm 68. But there was this movement in Wisconsin and in Michigan of young people. And that was when Biden was still in the race. I was like, I couldn't believe when he stepped down because I thought for sure he was going to win Wisconsin and Michigan. Well, he made his choice, and I'm happy. But I was there, and I'm happy, and we had another person with us that was like in their 20s, because canvassing, when I did canvassing when Jimmy Carter was running for president, it was paper and pencil. Now it's your iPhone. You got or your Android. So you have to get this app, and then you knock on the door and you just start talking about all the issues. You don't try to sell the person you're campaigning for or the party. You you stand at the door, or they invite you in, and you let them talk. I think that's very, very important that we let people talk. And we were even trained how to talk with people that are supporting Trump. I feel so many people with the Trump group, they just want to be heard. You know, I think we've pushed them to the side so long and never made them part of us. And I think that needs to change. So I've been canvassing, you know, and some people say, oh, I'm too old. Yeah, if you don't want to do canvassing, we also do what is called a postcard thing. My group wrote postcards, about 1,000 of them. And we're coming up to another thing that we're going to be doing postcards. So if you want to volunteer, I'll leave my information with you. You get hold of me and we can make a connection. You know, it's just like an afternoon, refreshments, some cookies, dessert, sit around, talk, and just, it's like 4 sentences you're right. And that, and then when I'm part of it, my donation to Wisconsin and Michigan, Wisconsin and Michigan is that I pay for the postage, but the lady that's in charge of our operation here in Chicago says she can get funds. So if you feel like that's a lot of money to be putting out, it's like $67 to send 100 postcards. And that most likely could be taken care of. She has all this information and all these different avenues to get funds to support this. So that's what I do. I do that at and I'm going to be starting in a couple of weeks after all my commitments with the Illinois State Fair and the Democrat Party of Illinois that I'm part of. I'm going there tomorrow and I'll be there for 3 days. I come home, I start my Democrat National Convention thing that Saturday. And they're still posting stuff for volunteers to do certain things. I had the privilege of working for Clinton and Gore in 1988, 1992, 1996. I actually worked at the DNC downtown, the old traffic court on the river, 7th and 8th floor. And I was able to go and be a visitor at the election. I'm at the convention. It was tremendous. It was a dream come true. So I don't really know what my plan is for actual inside the convention, because they really are emphasizing you're a volunteer. So they're actually trying to say you can't really enjoy it, but we'll see. You know, I know I'm like someone said, I look at a politician. I can be a politician very easy. I wear many masks. So when I get back, so then I'm going to be mandating the every Saturday, I'm going to be mandating the office on Bryn Mawr from 9:30 to 3:30. Just my way of, you know, one, staying current, staying involved, you know, and yeah, and then I'm part of the Democrat Party. So you know, I've been involved in politics.
How did we know that?
I don't know how you know that, but I am. You know, my parents almost had a heart attack when I was like 1968, because I was a big Richard Nixon fan. I don't know. Maybe it was I wanted to be a rebel or something, but I don't know. But I got sat down with the grandparents and my parents, and they told the story. And why you don't support the other party, you know, unless you have to. But
That was really good that they did that.
yeah, oh yeah, that, yeah.
That they
But you know,
go to that detail.
yeah. My parents lived during the Depression. My grandparents benefited from those FDR years, and that's how they did. They just sat down and said, you know, as a worker, and my parents worked in a factory for 43 years, and you know, if it wasn't for the union, they you know, when they first started there was no union. So if the CEO wanted his brother or a cousin, you could punch in, and in 15 minutes you were punched out, you lost your job. So I think the union and the Democrat Party has really helped a lot. You know, I've benefited from being a Chicago public school teacher. You know, and I taught in Illinois. You know, I went from a salary of $11,500 to when I came to Chicago to making 45,000. I mean, that's a big jump. Two different types: rural education and city. You know, city is a little harder, but I love teaching. So, you know, but those are some things I do. So if anyone's interested in getting involved in the Democrat Party of Illinois, I can help you do that. Or if you want to volunteer, I mean, I'm not saying you have to go canvassing. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's very interesting, and especially when I ran into my first Trumper. It was like, I thought, okay, you don't react. Just listen. And I just listened to him. I said, well, you got some good views there, but you know what? What could I change your mind if I told you these are 3 things that Biden can help you? And I said, 1, Social Security. And I was at a building where most of those residents were on Social Security. Do you know this is going to go bye-bye? Not today, but down the line. So that's it. I really appreciate your time and effort, because I think volunteering keeps you young. You know, that's something. I retired in 2015, and I woke up one morning at 6 o'clock preparing to go to work, and I ate my breakfast, and then all of a sudden I thought, I have nowhere to go. Bedtime's at 9 o'clock. And that's why I went back to work. And then this time, I retired a year ago. I knew it was time. And I thought, you need to get involved.
Do you have any other questions or people who would like to say what they do to volunteer to make the world a better place? Come on up. I know you have a lot to say on that.
Well, I won't say too much, but
Thank you, guys.
something that I advocate a lot, and I've been working in politics since 1970, and retired from it about 10 years ago. Early voting, and vote with a friend or family members, not just yourself on early voting days. That comes out 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time, and you'll know where you can go. Get a neighbor to go with you. Let's go vote together. I have my grandkids living with me now. They're eligible to vote. They're going with us when we go to vote. So I know they all vote. That's all. It's very important.
Well, for those of you who don't know George, he volunteers for a lot of different things. He's very involved in volunteering here for the church, various committees, and volunteers at lunch here on Friday, so.
I volunteered in other parts of the country rebuilding trailer homes. So,
See what I mean?
yeah.
Anyone else want to explain what they do to volunteer? Give us some inspiration.
Well, I co-founded 2 domestic violence shelters. And I ran a legal services clinic that was multilingual. I'm retired now, and I have an autistic son who has some medical issues. Both of my parents have passed, so my concentration is on him. And anyone I'm able to come in contact with and talk with, I do provide them with any kind of helping. But
That's good. That's very inspiring. Plus, there's, we've talked a lot about political, but there's a lot of other ways to volunteer if you're not particularly political.
I volunteer at the senior center in the lending closet, and we give out wheelchairs, shower chairs, all kinds of things to people that are having surgery or need that kind of equipment. No.
And we have Eva here. She's not going to speak up, but I'll speak for her. She comes and volunteers here to take the at reception for the lunch bunch a couple days a week. She always has something nice to say and smile on her face. So that's volunteering that we enjoy.
But years ago, I was a big sister to 2 littles. And I did that for 3 years. They were living with their grandparents. They didn't know their fathers. Their mother was, alcoholic, and unfortunately she passed, and was here in Chicago. And it was a wonderful experience. They would come to my house and play cards or they do schoolwork. A week ago. I even took them on vacation once. I was with the Big Brother and Sister program, and you can't spend a lot of money on it or anything like that. But I got it okay. I flew them with me to Northern Minnesota to my uncle's lake cabin. And they met with my whole family. They had so much fun. I like what I was hearing.
Well, I think you did too.
Yeah, I did too.
Anyone else want to share? Well, it's been a very inspiring meeting, I hope. I hope we inspired you to get involved, do something, not only politically, which is the current one, but long term. There's a lot to do. So thank you all for coming. I would like you, if you're not on our email list, to give me your email and I'll make sure you stay involved and get our information. Thank you for coming.